Welcome to Bespoke Diaries. Today's article is on Never Let Your Disability Hamper Your Pursuit of Excellence by Satendra Singh, international para-swimmer, India. Satendra Singh Lohia, born in the Gatau village of Bint district in Madhya Pradesh, life was never too easy, but never too hard either. Even as fate placed daunting challenges in his path, leaving him disabled since the age of 7 due to medical negligence while he was admitted to a hospital for treatment of fever, Satendra never let his disability hamper his pursuit of excellence. Despite underdeveloped thigh bones that don't allow him to straighten his limbs, Satendra went on to become one of India's finest open water swimmers, crossing the English Channel in 2018. In 2020, he was awarded the Tenzing Norgay National Adventure Sports Award, the highest adventure sports award in the country, a year after he also won the National Award for Best Sportsperson of the Year. A subject of sympathy, but for Satendra, the challenge is just started with a physical disability. When you have a physical weakness, you are viewed with a lot of negativity. In his village, he was a subject of sympathy. People advised him to sit in temples, so that people treat him well. But he was convinced that his life wasn't meant to be like this. People saw the weakness in his body, what they couldn't see was the strength of his mind. Satendra was a passionate swimmer from a young age. He went to a nearby river for a swim after school every day and became a pretty good swimmer. But for people around him who struggled to look beyond his weak limbs, it was a huge risk. Because of what people said about his love for swimming, his family was worried that he would drown in the river. So he had to sneak out of the house for odd reasons to go for a swim. In 2007, Satendra's family moved to Gwalior so that he and his brothers could get a quality higher education. It was there where Satendra's passion would being to turn into his profession. He was inducted in the Laxmibai National Institute for Physical Education where he was trained by Dr. Dabash. Being a para-athlete, Satendra was only afforded the pool at the institute for an hour every day. It was not enough for what he wanted to achieve, but it also wasn't enough to deter him. They got the pool for an hour every day. It was almost like an act of obligation for someone with a disability. But he believed in making the most of your resources and never made a fuss of it. Swimming or nothing, in 2009, in his first nationals, Satendra won a silver medal. It was a moment where he truly believed that he could carve a career for him in the sport. By that time, he had enrolled for a bachelor's degree in political science. But juggling studies with swimming was proving to be a problem. On being given an ultimatum by his professor, he chose swimming over his studies. Every year, so many students pass out of college, but there are very few swimmers who emerge. It proved to be an inspired call as his swimming career excelled. He scooped medals regularly at the national level and was awarded the Vikram Award, the highest sports award for the state of Madhya Pradesh, in 2014. In the meantime, as Satendra struggled for an income, he completed a diploma certificate in his computer application examination that earned him a government job. However, his swimming commitments meant he struggled to meet the demands of both. He quit his job to focus on swimming. He wanted to achieve something big and he knew his life had shown that he could do it as a swimmer. The English dream Satendra was not the one to rest on his laurels. He set his sight on crossing the English Channel, a task not just physically daunting, but also financially. He could barely speak English, knew little about the details of the swim and had no financial resources to fund it. It's an expensive affair. You need to stay in England for 3 months, need to hire a boat and also need to train for it. He neither had the money nor the expertise, but all he knew that there was this feat that few Indian swimmers had achieved. After doing some research, he contacted Rohan Moore, India's first Ocean 7 swimmer who had crossed 7 different channels for advice. With his guidance, Satendra had the necessary information to prepare himself for the swim, but no money. He then knocked on the door of the sports director of Madhya Pradesh in Bhopal who turned down his plea for funds, saying that they will not fund a suicide mission. The director didn't believe that a disabled person could swim such a long distance. He asked Satendra to prove his worth in India first to stand a chance of being funded. Thus in 2017, the Gata native swam a distance of 33 kilometers in the Arabian Sea near Mumbai, a feat he completed in less than 6 hours. But even that wasn't enough for him to release the funds. Satendra took the disappointment in the stride. That rejection made his will to cross the English Channel doubly strong. All his life he had proved his doubters wrong. He knew he could do it again. After receiving support from Tata Trust, who decided to take up all his expenses, Satendra travelled to England later that year. However, he was unsuccessful in his first attempt to cross the channel. After coming back, he trained with more in Pune for a year. It's not easy to cross the channel and you need to get a lot of things right. The water is extremely cold, so you need to have enough fat in your body to keep you warm, but at the same time you should not develop a paunch. Satendra then trained again for 3 months in England, spending almost 11 hours a day in the water. In June 2018, he crossed the English Channel through a relay with other para-swimmers. The boy, who his villagers feared would drown while swimming in a river, had completed the crossing in just 12 hours, setting a new record for an Indian swimmer. He came back and thanked all the officials who had doubted him. They were his inspiration. Now looking back, Satendra didn't stop there and then crossed the challenging Catalina Channel in August 2019 along with 6 other para-swimmers. He never considered his disability to be his problem. He never considered himself weaker than anyone. He thought if he couldn't overcome all the obstacles in his life, he would be remembered as a disabled person. So his battle was always for self-respect. Satendra's fight wasn't just limited to carving out an identity for himself in the oceans. He strove hard for almost 8 years, meeting various top officials to have a sports policy in place for para-athletes in Madhya Pradesh. Finally, in 2019, the government complied. Now, Satendra Singh Lohia is no longer a subject of sympathy. He is a figure of admiration. By swimming against the tide literally and figuratively, he has navigated through the diversities that life threw at him. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Do leave your thoughts in the comments section below. For similar type of article, please reach us at contact@thebespokediaries.com, or you can visit our website www.thebespokediaries.com.